Yo, you're watching Shurkou, and today we are back with some more Wild Rift Esports, and again, we're back with another movie, guys. We will be checking out the full best of 5 between MBR and Eagle 365 in the Indonesian Icon series, and this is the second semi-final. So we have seen Eagle 365 a lot on this channel already, and they always played super aggressive, so this should be an amazing series. Now we're jumping straight into the draft. As always, we have a Rengar ban and a Darius ban coming out from the side of MBR Esports. Meanwhile, a Fiora and a Diana ban. Keep in mind, this is the newest patch. We have Phase Rush. I believe Riven and Irelia are still not enabled, are still not allowed to be played. So if you're wondering why none of them are banned, if you were thinking some of them should be banned, well, that is the reason why. But keep in mind, Diana got nerfed, and Rengar also received that hotfix nerf, and they're still very contested here, it seems like. We have a Camille first pick, responded by a Gragas and a Janna. Now, Gragas is super popular right now. He is so insanely strong. We have a Galio pick and an Orianna, which means the Galio will most likely be a support. Then we also have a Tristana and what seems like to be a Singed. Yes, it gets locked in. So Singed also seeing a lot of play lately on the newest patch. And on the enemy side, we have that Lee Sin, which is still one of the strongest junglers in the game. We have Kai'Sa, which is, in my opinion, the strongest marksman in the game. And then the Garen, which got nerfed, but he is still a super hot pick in all of the, all over the world, still being picked in esports. And let's just jump straight into it. These are some pretty exciting drafts. Now, I already checked it out a little bit. We have some pretty, we of course have the phase rush on the Orianna. So that is always good to see, we always want to see, with the new patch, guys, we always want to see those new runes, those new champions being used. As I said, the new champions, not allowed yet, but hopefully that will come soon as well. But yeah, let's get back to the topic here. We have that Galio support, which is seen very often, and this time it wasn't even used as a flex pick. Usually you want to pick it super early. We've seen that in my previous esports movie here in the 2.5 hour one with that crazy best of 5. If you didn't check that out yet, I highly encourage you to do so if you crave some more esports movies on this channel, because it was absolutely insane. And there, the Galio was a very important pick. But while I'm saying that, I think this is just going to be a 2v2 kill, but it quickly gets responded as well by the Kai'Sa there. Now, I believe the Kai'Sa, let me just go back real quick. I think the Galio, no, the Janna dies first. Okay, so beautiful, it's still worth. It looked like for a second to me that the Kai'Sa got the first blood, which would have been a huge, well, it would have been pretty bad, okay, for the Tristana, but we have a little bit of a gank. You can see the bone plating by Kai'Sa being activated there. Marksmen in general and mages are a little bit in a weird spot, because what they really loved using in that third row was that regeneration rune. Kai'Sa, Ziggs, Orianna, stuff like that, right? Because they abused the mana regen component of that rune. Of course, that got changed into the second wind, so now most of these champions have to go for bone plating, which is good. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but you don't always want to go bone plating. Bone plating is good against champions that deal a lot of damage in a very short time. Okay, with a lot of different sources. So something like a Zed who all-ins you, something like a Tristana who all-ins you, right? Something like an Akali is one of the prime examples because she Qs and then she has to auto-attack you right after. So the bone plating really gets some good usage out there. But you'll see, you probably realize as well, if you play these champions a lot, that it's a little bit awkward. Look how aggressive MBR is playing, man. The dual lane is just going in so deep, but the Lee Sin follows up. The Galio has no flash from the last engagement, and that is an easy kill. So Eagle 365 pulling ahead already a little bit. Only 800 gold ahead, but still very good for them. They have the challenging smite, by the way, on the Lee Sin, which is really interesting. Usually, ooh, but the bot lane is getting ganked as well. Ooh, beautiful. The Lee Sin just goes in, flashes in. Tristana as well. No summoners, no flash. Up because of the previous engagement. And we have an easy dive there. Very well done with that kick. Beautiful gameplay by the Lee Sin. He is super fed already. I believe he's 2-0 now. If he got both of these kills, I am not quite sure. But let's compare these lineups here, okay? Because of course we have that Singed in the top lane, uh, which seems to be used a lot now. It seems like he does quite well into the Garen matchup, right? It seems like, especially now in the Baron lane, these last, ever since that previous patch, right? We had a huge break for esports, right? All the Icon series were paused between the playoffs and the regular season and or the group stages, whatever you want to call it. And now we have a lot of all of a sudden we have a lot of these tank picks in the Baron lane. Singed, Garen even before, but now even after the nerf, Garen is still being picked a lot. As I said, Singed wasn't really picked a lot. I thought Singed is really good now because of Phase Rush, but they still take Conqueror on him. We've seen him twice so far, or 3 times, and they always took Conqueror, so it's really interesting to see. Not too many Phase Rushes. Now, I believe in this series we will see Phase Rush Gragas at some point. If I skimmed a little bit through it, and I saw some interesting stuff, so I thought I would review it. And yeah, I think we will see some Phase Rush Gragas. I'm not quite sure. Maybe I mistook it for the Aerie, but because it looks kind of similar, but I don't think so. I don't think I'm that dumb. But while I'm saying that, we have the Dragon just going down, pretty much no contest from EG Eagle coming in here. MBR gets the Dragon. Ooh, they get the... Guys, oh no! That was a huge mistake by Tristana. He has to know that the enemy has barrier there. Completely griefs the kill away. And honestly, with that kill, usually I would say, a tower for an Ocean Dragon, it depends, I guess. Early game, the tower is better. But as the game goes on, the Ocean Drake is just gonna permanently buff up your stats for your whole team. So that is always risky to just give up for a tower, right? You can use the tower gold to snowball the game hard. If you use the macro well, that's the tower being down enables you to do, but it's always risky, right? It's very risky. But with that kill, going over to Kaisa, I think that's pretty worth it in the end. Now they're finally showing the items. We have the Trinity Force coming out by that Camille. Meanwhile, we have the GA first by the Lee Sin, that's pretty standard. Sunfire Aegis on the Garen. Rylai's is apparently very standard as a first item on Singed. They just want the utility. We have no Archangels yet on the Orianna, but while I'm saying that, the Galio gets caught again. Tristana gets caught as well and has to flash away, which is honestly really, really big. Because that won't be up for 2.5 minutes, so the next fights will be difficult, and this one as well. Ooh, the Lee Sin gets kicked instantly. The Singed gets kicked instantly by the Lee Sin. Who gets the thing? I have no clue, man, but the whole blue team is getting a bunch of kills, and Orianna was able to steal the Rift Herald as well. Now that is big. Nice little cheeky outplay by the Lee Sin, but he's not able to escape from the Orianna auto attacks. She gets a shutdown, she gets a double kill, she got a kill earlier as well, I believe, during that fight, and they get the full ace for, I believe, only a Camille dropping, and of course that Galio right at the start of that engagement. That is pretty wild. How does that even happen? How does that even happen? It looked so good for Eagle there, but MBR just gets the clean comeback, bruv. They just are able to... I guess the Singed was just doing 1 billion damage, was for some reason extremely tanky. I guess the health from the Rylai's and all the resistances that he gets, I believe, from his ultimate, just a nice combo there. That's crazy. You would expect... Singed with only an AP item to not be that tanky. I don't think this Janna is gonna die. I think they were overreaching here. MBR will pay the price for that. And the Galio gets out with his ultimate, but the Camille ends up dropping. Jungler dead. Luckily, no objective up on the map. No Dragon up, no Rift Herald up. Now that Orianna, I believe, still has the Rift Herald. I don't think she used it top. I think they pushed that tower without it. So we'll see. Ooh, the Garen gets caught. He is pretty tanky, but as soon as his second ability expires... Oh, but that's a beautiful Lee Sin kick. Hits, I believe, all 3 people there, and they are able to get the kill, and the Garen just survives. The Orianna getting blasted there, but the Camille follows up after she ended up respawning. The Galio ends up dying to the red buff, Very unlucky, but this Kai'Sa does not have a flash available, so she just ends up dropping. The Lee Sin goes in, but the shield of the Camille passive makes her survive, and she heals a little bit. I think that was a fleet footwork proc, but it is not enough in the end. She should have backed away, but she dies to the Janna auto attack. But this Onion King, beautiful name here, on Singed, gets the kill in the end onto that Janna. Now, this Singed is probably really fed. They're not showing the scoreboard too much here. I really want to delve into those builds and stuff. Let me just check if everything is right. Yes, sir. Okay, so the gold is dead even pretty much. 500 gold lead, 400 gold lead for Eagle. Does not matter at all. So that's where we have to compare. I mean, Eagle is ahead because now they even got the second dragon. It's the 2 weakest dragons in the game. Oh my god, the Kai'Sa gets flipped right after the Singed gets kicked away from the Gragas. So that looked buggy, but that's just how Singed flip works. If you start the animation, even if the enemy flashes away, or even if you get kicked away, it will still flip them. And it oftentimes looks really funny. So in the end, we have 2 easy kills going over to the side of MBR. But once again, Eagle got that tower, that dragon, but MBR gets the mid lane tower. The Rift Herald is cleaned out, so they can't get the tier 2 tower in the mid lane, so that's pretty good. But look at this Camille pushing down bot lane, and she might get this because she can really overextend, you know, because of her third ability. Her dash is so powerful to escape, and yeah, she does get it. The minions will clear it out. Beautiful macro there by the Camille. That is always something really nice. When you pick Camille jungle, you really gotta watch out to not pick another or too many other split pushers. And with Singed, he's actually really good at team fighting. He can join these fights. So you can just shift her into the side lane in the mid game and let the Singed join the team, right? So that's a good perk of having the Camille jungle. And Camille, early game, gets blasted in lane a little bit. Oftentimes, it depends on matchup, but by a lot of matchups. But usually, for example, something like Camille versus Fiora, she loses early game, but starting from mid game, she ends up winning that matchup. So if she's able to get a little bit fed in the jungle, she can really transition into that side lane and then just start beating these champions, whereas usually she wouldn't beat them. Now we have a beautiful Orianna ult, drops the Kai'Sa very low, but not enough to get the killing blow. The Galio goes deep, but he is very tanky. The Lee Sin is completely caught out, uses Zhonya's. Oh, he's able to jump away. The Galio ult a little bit mistimed, but the Gragas ends up dropping. Now the Garen is pretty healthy. You know, he's pretty tanky as well. That is a very aggressive gameplay there by the Lee Sin. He tries to kick the Tristana in. He's not able to do so, only kicks her to the side and ends up losing his Guardian Angel for it. So I wouldn't say it's worth. Oh, but she just goes in. Huge mistake by the Camille. Very well played. And they get the tier 2 tower though. So still a huge victory for MBR. Even though Eagle got pretty lucky there. You saw the Janna escape with a sliver of health. Another enemy was escaping really low HP as well. So yeah. Very, very interesting so far. By the way, the Tristana went for the heal. And the Galio went for the Ignite, which is very, very aggressive. That's why they were playing so aggressive as well early game. We have the Archangels, we have the Liandry's on Orianna. She's going for a Rabadon's next. We have the Rylai's and Liandry's on Singed. He's doing amazingly well, man. Has the Proto Belt as well. He's honestly the star of the show, in my opinion, so far. By far the best stats, most kill participation. Looking good for him. Meanwhile, the enemy mid laner really struggling there. 3,000 gold behind, 4,000 gold behind almost. Behind the Orianna there. That Gragas really not having a good game. Woo! Look at this Orianna, man. How are you gonna have a good game if the Orianna is gonna play like this, man? Beautiful 3-man shockwave. 2 easy kills. Singed gets both of them. Gets the Kai'Sa from a mile away with his poison. And he just keeps going in. But I think he might pay with his life. He does not. Look how fast he is, bro. Look how fast he is. That's the thing, man. The Ghost. They changed it where it resets now. If you get a killing blow, if you get a takedown, it resets. Okay, so you can keep the duration up for so long. He was ghosting there for like 30 seconds, man. That's absolutely mental. And the Tristana is just playing the macro. Look at this, man. The Lee Sin is fighting this Camille. He's winning, but it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. He's really styling here. He's styling, bro. Oh, can he jump? No, he can't. Oh, beautiful. Orianna ult as well. I don't think he should have Zhonya's. I think he should have jumped onto the Singed and then Zhonya's. He will get the kill at least. He will get a nice little shutdown. But yeah, definitely nice mechanics there being shown by everybody. But as I said, the stars of the show so far, Orianna and Singed, just doing so much work for MBR here. Champions that you don't see every game anymore. Orianna, yeah, she was broken, but she received a pretty hefty nerf, and now it's pretty much the Ziggs show. By the way, very interesting that Ziggs wasn't banned this game and not picked. Yeah. We've seen it in the Malaysian Icon series that Ziggs was such a hot commodity, man. Always picked or banned. But here, we have some different... again, there, the Rengar wasn't really banned. Now MBR finally get... Oh, wait, guys. I didn't notice. But they actually stole the Ocean Dragon. I never noticed it, man. I was a Dumbo, bro. I was completely fumbling my dragons there as well. Because that was a Mountain Dragon right now. It was a Cloud Dragon earlier. It is what it is. I guess I'm colorblind at this point. I apologize. But MBR are looking pretty good, man. They actually have 2 dragons now. It is the 2 worst dragons of the game. Oh, look at this. Galio engage, bro. Very well played. The Singed is able to run down the Lee Sin, and it is a legendary Singed, man. Legendary Singed. How funny is that? I've never seen that. You barely see that in solo queue. My man, Onion King, is doing it in esports. Hey, it is what it is. Now the enemies, you know, at least they have an excuse for crying because there's onions in the room. It is what it is, man. I love myself some onions on my döner kebab, on my dürüm. I don't know, man. That wasn't even funny. We have the Baron being taken down, though. I think MBR is just going to completely blast the rest of this game. We have a 10,000 gold lead. It is only a matter of time before they win now. They would have to commit some huge mistakes because not only do they have the huge advantage, they also have the complete late game advantage. Orianna is completely broken late game. Tristana is completely broken late game. And honestly, you might not think so, but Singed is insane late game as well. And he's fed. And he has 2 movement speed items with that Deadman's Plate. After the nerf, by the way, still a Deadman's Plate build. It was a really big nerf, man. That health nerf was huge, gigantic. And he has the Force of Nature as well, which gives you a lot of move speed as well. And then we also have a Camille, which is also really strong late game. And Galio is insane as well. It is crazy. I think they will just completely dismantle this game right now. We'll see if I'm right. Let's check it out. We, by the way, have a Static Shiv Kaisa. I will make a video about that soon. Now, I skipped the Blade of the Rune King for that Static Shiv. He does not do so. But yeah. Ooh, they're just going deep now. Yeah, that's a 4-man Orianna ult. Come on, man. What are you going to do? Nothing, bro. Nothing. I was going to say the game is going to end in 3 minutes. Well, they made 1 minute out of it. The game is ending right away. Now the Singed gets shut down right at the end there. But I'm sure he doesn't care, man. Ooh, the Quadra kill. Okay, not bad. Even the Tristana shines in the end. Very nice game, guys. Very impressive gameplay. Super even early game. Basically, that Rift Herald fight started turning it around. MBR was completely behind before that point. It was 5-1 in kills. For Eagle, but they were able to come back in that fight with the Singed. Man, that Singed, dude, not even phase rush. I thought they were gonna take phase rush, but no phase rush. The Orianna gets MVP. She probably outdamaged him, but let's be real, man. It should be him MVP. He has most kill participation. Yeah, he was just smurfing. It was honestly disgusting. Good effort by the whole team, though. Let's see. Yeah, she just outdamaged him. But what are you gonna do? How are you going to outdamage an Orianna that keeps hitting 4-man shockwaves, right? You can't really do much. And yeah, with that being said, we will jump straight away into the next draft. Alright guys, jumping straight into draft number 2 here, and with that very dominating late game performance by MBR, especially that Singed and Orianna, you might want to do something about that, right? If you're on the side of Eagle. They decided to pick blue side now. They wanted the first pick, and they already picked away the Camille from MBR. Camille was also one of the very important reasons, not as important as Singed and Oriana, but let's check out the rest. So the bans still by both teams exactly the same. We have, as I said, that Camille first pick. Then we have a Gragas and a Janna coming out by MBR here. So they take away the Gragas this time. Meanwhile, a Braum, which if you remember in my previous Wild Rift movie here, we had the Braum just dominating every single game. He seemed to be very important. So that's looking good for Eagle. And they also get the Ziggs. Finally, it is picked in this series. Then we have a Lee Sin jungle. Once again, a super strong jungler. It seems like the teams just switched the jungle champions up here between themselves. And we have the Varus as a marksman. Then we have an Amumu picked in the jungle, an Ezreal marksman, and the last pick is a Katarina. Seems like this game will be even more exciting than the previous one, and the previous one was already quite the banger. Now this will be extremely interesting. Excuse me, I went way too far here. Let me move my camera away so we can actually see stuff. Holy moly, man. Guys, you know I love Katarina, and Katarina in esports is always fun to see. And I love Amumu as well, and we never see this little man in esports, but finally he is picked up here. Huge ultimates combos with that Ziggs and Amumu ult. Ezreal ult shaving through the rest of the remainder, or the remainder of the enemy team that stays alive after that huge Amumu and Ziggs combo. And we also have a Braum combo, or Braum ult to add on to that combo as well. So this is looking really good for Eagle in terms of teamfight capability. They also have quite a lot of CC to stop the Katarina from going crazy with her ultimate, with her resets. They also have quite easy access onto that Varus. And as I said, I thought both junglers just switched the jungle champions, but actually they put the Camille top and decided to pick up that Mumu in the jungle. Now this is, yeah, see, I wasn't looking wrong when I was saying in the previous game that we will see a phase rush Gragas. Phase rush Gragas, bruv. That is pretty crazy, isn't it? On the side of Onion God, he doesn't go phase rush on Singed, but he goes phase rush on Gragas, which is absolutely insane. And yeah, very exciting to see. We have Electrocute Katarina, so this is a very viable thing to take. I always take Conqueror. Most Katarinas prefer Conqueror, but this is a very, if you feel like you will struggle to get the first reset, then Electrocute is very good because you will be very easy able to get that first reset with all that burst damage. But burst damage, apropos, because we have the Braum just dying to a bunch of burst there. After that Lee Sin game, seems like in both games now, Lee Sin is able to pull ahead in the early game. So maybe for these two teams, honestly, Lee Sin seems like a very important pick so far. Because remember, Eagle 365 last game, they were extremely well positioned in the early game with that Lee Sin. He was doing so well, he was getting so many good ganks off. But unfortunately, they ended up throwing at the Rift Herald. Now we will see if this fate will repeat itself, if the Lee Sin ends up dropping off too much in the mid and late game. Especially against Amumu, you know, you are gonna win early game hard as a Lee Sin. But, you know, late game, that AoE ult, I mean, is there anything that can beat Amumu in terms of usefulness late game? I don't know, man. Like, I love seeing Amumu. Whenever I see an Amumu in my team in solo queue, I'm like, okay, man, this is so good. Because even if we lose early game, his ult is just gonna be so big late game that he's probably still gonna do some work. So, yeah, let's check it out. Let's see if Eagle can perform with that. So far, they are quite far behind. They're much further behind than they were ahead last game with that Lee Sin. They were ahead like 800 gold at this point, or not even, maybe like 500. But right now, MBR is actually ahead 1.6 thousand gold, which is honestly pretty big. And it's going to be even more after that Katarina actually collects this mid lane wave, since the Ziggs already cleared it out. Now, of course, this was played a couple days ago. Battle Boss Ziggs wasn't out yet. Beautiful skin. Check out my video if you haven't yet. It is an absolutely gorgeous skin. Probably my favorite skin in the game right now. And usually I hate purple, and he has a lot of purple action going on. So that just tells you, ooh, the Amumu already going for a sneaky little solo dragon attempt. He just wanted to YOLO it. Amumu can burst it down really quick with that second ability. With those tiers, they just do so much percentage damage to those objectives. I mean, Amumu can solo Baron late game, or even mid game, as soon as he has Sunfire, Aegis, and maybe Alliandries. But now we have a little bit of a Uno reverse card being pulled by MBR. They decide to go for a dragon themselves. Now this is once again not too strong of a dragon in the early game. Ooh, look at this Amumu going in. Ooh, the Ziggs actually gets the steal with his ultimate. The Amumu ends up dropping, so MBR pulls ahead 2 kills now. But I do think this is worth. For Eagle, because they got the Ocean Dragon. Now, was it worth to just go for it before? No, it wasn't, because it was very risky. Okay? Amumu goes in, he can steal. I would say the attempt is worth. Lucky that the Ziggs got it, and they also get the top lane tower, because of course, the Baron Laner, I believe, ended up roaming bot to get that. The Onion King, I was calling him Onion God earlier. My mistake, but hey, can you blame me? After that Singed performance, I mean, he is an absolute god, mate. Singed, legendary Singed, and then he goes face rush Gragas, bro. How can you not be a fan of him? I'm already a fan. I simp, guys. I simp. And his name is Onion King. How dumb is that, man? I mean, how dumb am I? How dumb am I for not being Onion King? Jesus Christ, shurkou, what is that? Ooh, the Amumu is getting clapped though. Mate, this Gragas is too good. He will end up dying to the red buff, but he secures his Lee Sin a double kill. That was just disgusting. I don't know what to say. Did you see that? That was crazy outplays, man. Beautiful mechanics. Gets the ult perfectly onto the Amumu, kicks him back into the tower, and Camille forced to dive to finish the kill. Is this Katarina gonna finish somebody? Yeah, the Lee Sin Q connects. Beautifully done. And they end up diving the Ziggs. The Braum gets away though. Very well played because of a nice little clutch ult by him, cancelling the Katarina ult. That's what I was talking about with that Katarina pick. It is very risky in esports because usually people are always going to shut you down very quickly. They're going to say, oh, this Amumu, oh, cheeky. I don't think you can, oh, look at this Amumu tanking. You see how he tanks? Oh, but it's too greedy by the Camille. She misses her dash, which means she doesn't get some bonus attacks off, and she will just end up dying. The Amumu ended up dying as well. It looked cool, it was good, but it was good only if it was an actual 2v1 and everybody else on the enemy team was dead. But that was not the case. They ended up following up and completely blowing them out. And MBR is stomping this game because Varus got a top lane tower as well. Now, honestly speaking, because Eagle is doing such a good job here, again, they get the rotation. They at least punish the Varus for pushing the tower. Very well done. Is this... I don't think this Janna is gonna die. What? What was that? A mystic shot? Through the minion, bro. Through the minion almost. Those were the 2 best skill shots I've seen. They wiggled them around the minion like a banana, bruv. Jesus Christ, the Braum Q and the mystic shots, the Ezreal Q. Sheesh, but they end up losing their life. They ended up overextending once again. But hey, they're definitely styling, okay? We have some crazy mechanics this game. The Amumu is able to secure the Rift Herald. Of course, the Lee Sin wasn't in range. Ooh, but the Bandage Toss misses. The Lee Sin Q connects. The Camille just goes deep. She wants that Gragas. She wants that thick booty. But she isn't gonna get it, okay? She's angry, you know? Because Camille is thick. But Gragas is even thicker. She doesn't want the thickness competition. She wanted to take him out. But she gets taken out instead. Once again, Onion King hitting us with the mechanics. Beautifully done. Ends up surviving. He's going for a tier. What? He went for a tier. Is he going for Fimbul Winter? Is he going for Fimbul Winter, guys? It's not going to be a mana immune. Okay? Quick little, it's not going to be a mana immune. Yeah, he's going for a Fimbul Winter. Sheesh, man. No shot, bro. Sunfire Aegis into Fimbul Winter with a phase rush. You already know what kind of video I will upload. You already know, guys. We'll do it in the jungle, but you already know. So make sure to subscribe to not miss that. But yeah, Jesus, man. Also, leave a like, man. Leave a like. 2.5 hour video, leave a like, bro. Or actually, I don't know how long this is gonna be. Because so far it seems like it might even be a 3-0. MBR is just playing phenomenally in this game too. That was a beautiful CC chain onto that Ezreal. No counterplay for him. The Gragas does not end up dying. He flashes away. Oh my god, the Mumu misclicked or something. That, we need some... hey, I need to clean my eyes after that one. That was a little bit disgusting. But this Katarina is going to be disgusting. Yep. She gets one. Is she going to be able to dive? She wants to. She wants to. But she can't. She can't. Unfortunate. But that looked very dangerous for Eagle there. They only end up losing one. That was crazy. And they got the GA onto the Lee Sin, which isn't too bad. You pop that GA. Pretty good. Pretty good. Dragon. Imagine that Ezreal stole it. First the Zigzag, then the Ezreal. That would have been crazy. But that did not happen. This is an 8,000 gold lead, guys. That is really disgusting. Can Eagle come back? Now, once again, they 100% have the better late game, right? I would say the Varus, judging by his Aerie, is probably going for the Manamune build, which doesn't really scale too well into the late game. Let's be real right there, guys. It's a very lane bully focused build where you really want to win your lane as hard as possible, which honestly they did. They did an amazing job at doing that. But again, you don't pick it for late game. Katarina late game is a lot of damage, does a lot of damage, but considering how much CC the enemies have, it's going to be tough for her. A full tank Gragas late game is going to be tanky, but that's it. And then a Lee Sin obviously drops off late game. That is a beautiful Ezreal ult. They secure the kill onto the Katarina, onto the marksman, which is really good. That's exactly what they need. The Mumu goes way too deep, gets knocked around, but is able to flash away, and he's not going to get finished up by the Gragas there. He's too far on the minimap. That's what I was looking out for. With the Mumu positioning there, but the Braum ends up being taken out. Now, once again, the Gragas is not able to finish the Mumu. Yup, and the Camille is completely caught out now, but she dashes away. Well done. She gets away. Now, back to the topic of the late game discussion. Ezreal is honestly phenomenal late game. Not as good as Tristana, Vayne, Jinx, stuff like that, but definitely a whole tier above Varus late game, right? At least in my opinion. He's so safe, you know, you can't really kill him. He's always going to have that clutch factor in team fights. Also, he has a very good amount of AoE damage on his ultimate, which again pairs up really well with the Amumu and the Ziggs. Then they have the Camille for the split push, which this game will not be contested by anybody. They will not even be able to 1v2 her. She's going to destroy the full tank Gragas with her true damage. She's going to destroy the Lee Sin, even in a 1v2 with the Gragas if she gets ganked in the late game. So, and she's honestly doing pretty well. She's definitely behind. All of them are behind. Again, it's an 8,000 gold lead still, even more now. But there is comeback potential, 100%. I'm not trolling you right here. Also something interesting, Varus ended up going for Yomu second instead of Duskblade second. Why do I say that? You check my previous videos on Varus, I always went Yomu's as well. Well, Duskblade got buffed. So maybe, just maybe, it could be worth. But again, I'm not sure. It's something to test out. But it could be worth maybe. Instead of the Yomu's, you know, like as a second item. And then the Yomu's late game. The Gragas is completely caught out here, but he is really tanky. He has a lot of cooldown reduction with that Fimbul Winter as well, but that is a sick Amumu ult. But only Gragas ends up dying. The Camille is going deep, might have been too deep. No, the Katarina ends up using her combo and will get completely shut down. Way too greedy there on the Katarina, but extremely well played by Eagle. Don't underestimate that. It's not easy to... Like, no one made a mistake there. The Katarina went in. I would have gone in as well. Because if someone makes a small mistake, you get all four. You just kill everybody there. So many people low HP. But because they really danced around the range really well, Camille flashing away, she couldn't get the reset. She ends up dying. Beautifully played. And Eagle gets the comeback. I told you. They have insane team fighting capabilities. They're behind 8,000 gold. Not anymore. Now it's 6k. And next team fight will be even easier. Because they just got that little gold swing back into their favor. They have that dragon. Now the next dragon is spawning. It's only a mountain dragon. It's okay. Give it over. Let MBR get it. Keep farming. Keep making the percentage of the gold lead smaller. Because if you keep staying behind 6k gold. Well, if it's suddenly late game and your team is at 5 items, the enemies are at 6 items, well, oh well. Doesn't matter as much anymore as in the early game when you're at 2 items and the enemy is at 3, right? Relatively speaking, of course that matters more, but the Mountain Dragon is being taken. The Lee Sin kick goes onto the Amumu, but only hits her into the wall. The Amumu ult isn't too good. The Katarina is doing a lot of damage, but is poked out hard. Now this Ezreal strength is what I'm talking about. He is so safe. He is able to get away. So far, only the Camille dying completely off screen, diving the Varus probably or something. Super lucky there, honestly. Katarina getting away super low, everybody getting away super low. The Amumu tries to go back in to get this dragon, ends up dying for it. Now, why am I pulling such a face here? Why am I so worried because of that? Well, because of course the Baron buff is up and you have a 3v5 situation in favor of MBR. So that is not only a Mountain Dragon that ends up dropping, but also the Baron is gonna most certainly drop here. But I'm a little bit scared because Onion King is very low HP. And the enemies are coming. But again, it's a 3v5. Oh, the Camille will make it a 4v5. And she wants to engage. Okay, she uses the teleport, dashes away. The Ezreal gets completely caught and shut down. Huge burst coming in there. Huge mistake by him. He has his flash up as well. It is very, very unfortunate. Now the teleport comes in by the Amumu. He had to go for a teleport to be able to follow up because the Baron threat is still real, and now this Katarina is trying to go deep, but once again, can't really go that deep. Now again, do you guys see why these pro teams don't pick Katarina too often? After the nerf, before the nerf, they were soys. They probably couldn't play her yet. They probably didn't have time to just play 300 games, 400, 500 games of Katarina because they still have to practice their other champions. So that was just soy, not really soy, they just didn't have time. But again, if you really hard commit, you could probably learn it quickly. But after the nerf, it just isn't worth. It just isn't worth most of the time. Because the enemies will save CC to completely take you out of the game. Now that being said, this Katarina is doing a pretty good job so far. Because she is forcing she's at least absorbing a lot of pressure. So that's really good. Beautiful Gragas ult there. The Amumu gets finished, the Katarina gets the kill. Is she gonna die to the Liandry's? She does not die, she's able to get away with the flash. And now we will have nobody else dropping. Yeah, okay. So the red buff, I believe, on the Gragas, or I don't know, the burn. I think the burn effect from the Sunfire Aegis ends up finishing that poor Camille. And after that, the whole team fight collapses. The Varus is not gonna die, but the Braum ended up dying as well. However, in exchange for the Lee Sin kill, so it's not that bad for Eagle. I mean, it's bad, but it's not as bad as it could have been. Because I thought that Varus piercing arrow will finish the Ezreal. Now this Ezreal ended up getting lucky there, not getting killed, but now he gets caught anyway, so he ended up dropping anyway. So some big mistakes in the last 2 minutes by the Ezreal, getting caught a lot here. Again, if he steps up though, they can still win. I'm telling you, man, this Eagle team composition, MBR is definitely on a good path to win in this game, but they are on a clock. And if they let the clock run too much, they might lose in the end. We'll see about that. They definitely need to push their advantage here. They are doing an amazing job at doing so. By the way, Aerie is pretty much dead for supports now. You can see even the Janna goes for that Font of Life. So that is a very strong choice. I already uploaded a Sona video a couple of days ago where we have that Font of Life as well used. And it works really well. It's just really, really good. Very, very nice. Of course, Aerie is still extremely useful for aggressive champions like Ziggs, like Varus, like Gragas mid lane. AP Gragas mid lane should always go for that Aerie. I'm gonna try to make a video, I guess, on that as well. Aerie Gragas seems really fun because you have a lot of poke. But yeah, we have the Baron being a little bit engaged, but once again, I believe that was an Amumu teleport coming in to stop it as soon as possible. The Infernal Dragon Elder just spawned this Gragas. Look how tanky he is, man. He does not die at all. I thought he's gonna take a fat L, but the Lee Sin takes an L. The Mumu ends up dropping, but now the Gragas is in a little bit of trouble. The Camille can maybe follow up. Not in the end. That was a very good Ezreal, though. The Varus is way too low now to do anything, so they have to just retreat. Never mind, they go back in. They go back in. The Katarina still talking here, still wants those kills. She gets a kill. I don't think she's going to get more though. See, she gets stunned by the Braum passive. It's so incredibly difficult. Of course, the Braum ended up dying though. The red buff, no! The red buff gets QSS'd, I believe, so he doesn't get it. This Ezreal is so unlucky. This could have been 2 kills, could have been 2, lots of gold, man, coming into the Ezreal, but he does not get it. But I think the Gragas is finally gonna die. He does. This Gragas is so tanky, it's absolutely hilarious. Once again, MBR, Onion King, Onion God, Onion Sensei, Onion Daddy. Yeah. Doing really well with some crazy pick here. Fimbul Winter, man. That's just absolutely mental, dude. He's full tank with a Fimbul Winter. And he isn't even going for Iceborne Gauntlet, man. You would think he would do that because of the mana synergy. But yeah, so far not. However, Eagle is now, after all those kills, after Gragas is dead, 5v4 on the minimap, they are doing the Infernal and they get it. They get the Elder Infernal. Wow, the Camille ended up dropping, but she kept the Lee Sin away from the Infernal. Now, I think because Camille ended up dying, it's a 5v4 in favor of MBR. They will just get this Baron. And if I was Eagle here, I wouldn't even try to fight, because I would just be happy that we got the Infernal Dragon. I would be happy scaling until the late game. Just try to huddle up in base. Yeah, that's exactly what they do. They only escorted the Ziggs towards the area so he can try to steal with a cheeky ultimate. Maybe he will get it. Did not end up getting it, but hey, that is worth. And they're exactly doing what I thought, or what I was recommended to do. Just chill in base now. Wait for the Baron to expire. Just keep wave clearing. You have a Ziggs with an Infernal Elder. Okay? So you have very good wave clear. You have the Mystic Shots from Ezreal coming in as well for some extra wave clear. So honestly, you can't really get both. If you dive, and the enemies, when they have an Amumu under a tier 3 tower, that is just a recipe for disaster. So I'm banking on Eagle here. They're 13,000 gold behind, but I am banking on Eagle, which is absolutely mind-blowing, right? And I think I'm gonna win this bet, okay? We'll see though. We'll see. It is a huge gold lead, but man, I'm telling you, yeah, you can see the wave clear by Ziggs coming in. They will probably get, as long as they keep 1 tier 3 tower, they're happy. If they lose 2 tier 3 towers, it is what it is. But as long as they keep 1, they're happy. Now they ideally want to keep both though. The bot lane wave is cleared, the mid lane wave is gonna get cleared here, the Ziggs is out of mana. Yeah, I think this tier 3 tower will drop, but now you have to defend bot. You have to defend bot. If you lose, I'm changing my bet. If you lose that tower, I'm changing my bet, guys. I think MBR is gonna win now. I think triple tier 3, they could have defended it, I think, better. They were trying to defend all of them. They had to only defend 1, okay? Only defend 1 there. Maybe only defend the bot lane tower and let the others 2 drop. But now, MBR is trying to dive, but the Baroned up minions are just collapsing onto the core and they're just trying to get the Nexus. They will, yep, that's what happens. You had to only defend 1, I think. And with that Infernal Elder, you could try to edge out the victory. Or if you realize you can't defend any of them, just hard engage. Go in with the Mumu, try that last team fight. You have the Elder, and you have to just try. But in the end, a little bit of a disappointing play there by coming in by Eagle. But man, that was a banger, wasn't it? That was an absolute banger, guys. Now, let me check if... let me check who gets the MVP. The Lee Sin, actually, I think he played really well. But honestly, once again, Onion King, Onion God, Onion MVP should get it, okay? The Onion Durum Master should get that MVP. Let's be absolutely real, guys. Look at this damage he dealt, man. 27,000. Look how useless this Katarina was. But no, she was doing really well in mid-game. She was absorbing a lot of pressure. Again, as soon as you pick Katarina, you already know the enemies will just completely try to take you out of the game in every single team fight. Because if you don't, you just You know, 1 millisecond and your whole team is gone in the blink of an eye. So, hey, extremely good game. Now, Eagle definitely backed up against the wall. They are 0-2 behind. The games weren't that, like, they weren't stomps or anything. They were honestly decently close. But at this point, you really need a mental reset. You need an early game advantage. You need to secure Lee Sin. You need to not throw with the Lee Sin. In my opinion so far, I think the Braum was amazing. He was pretty good, you know. Locks out a lot of these picks, and you might want to switch up these bans. But so far, MBR, not really anything you could ban out from them, because they pretty much went two very different drafts in these two games. It's definitely an uphill battle, but MBR's early game was so clean. You want early game strength. So we'll see what Eagle decides to do here. And of course, we will jump straight into the next draft. Alright guys, game number 3 draft. And Eagle, after the loss, once again opting for that blue side. They really want that first pick. Now they actually ended up changing their bans a little bit, because they banned out that Gragas this time and decided to get that Diana after she wasn't banned compared to the previous games. What is going on? We have an early Pantheon pick coming out by MBR. Now this could go anywhere. Galio again also can go mid or support. Pantheon can go jungle, Baron lane, mid, or even support. So this is an absolute huge curveball being thrown into this draft by MBR. That is really exciting. We have a Varus pick for Eagle. Now this is something I really love. I told you they need early game, and they go for one of the strongest lane bullies in the game right now in that duo lane. Varus with the lethality build, with the mana immune, super good. They once again secure the Camille. I think that's a good choice. She's so good at split pushing. Like, it's not a mistake that a lot of teams just decide to ban her every game. Like, she is really, really strong. However, look at all these curveballs. MBR just goes for the Graves. They're saying, okay, listen, the enemies are probably going to go for early game draft. We will just go even more early game with the Graves, with the Pantheon, with the Galio, and the Tristana is the late game insurance. Huge fan of of MBR's draft so far. And we have a Garen and a Lux pick. So once again, the Lux support, most likely gonna be a Lux support. Jungle Camille then. And we have that Varus with the Lux. Super big bullies. And once again, MBR gets the Orianna, which is just crazy strong, right? Remember that Orianna from the first game? That was just 3 or 4 man shockwaves every single game. Very impressive. And I believe they picked Tristana as well in the first game. So once again, they have huge late game strength while still maintaining a lot of early game with that crazy Pantheon pick, man. So that is mind-blowing, guys. Let me move this. We are still recording. Everything is working. Boom. Now again, who is playing? Like, guys, I was gonna say most likely the Pantheon is gonna go into the Baron lane, because this Onion guy is just absolutely crazy, man. The man, the legend. It is what it is. What am I gonna say? And he went Pantheon Baron lane, and he took Ignite against the Garen. Now, did they predict that the Garen would be picked? Because Pantheon, if you didn't know, is so insane against Garen and Darius as well, because you can shield their ultimates. So even more so against Darius. Darius has no counterplay against Pantheon, because you can really just always shield. Oh my god, look how aggressive this MBR dual lane is playing again. Just like last game, just like game 1, they're playing so aggressively once again, and it seems like this Varus and Lux pick is completely locked out, basically. Like, they're completely cocked right away, because like they committed so much into this poke heavy bottom lane, but the enemies just have such hard engage with the Galio and Tristana that you're just getting destroyed. Oh my god, you get trapped. Such a good trap by the Galio. This is not a kill, but it is very close. He is forced to use his flash. He's forced to use his heal. Ooh, this is already looking terrible for Eagle. Wow. MBR is just styling right now, man. And again, back to that little discussion about Pantheon. Pantheon completely counters Darius, because again, you can always just shield his ult. Always that third ability against the Darius ult, and he deals 0 damage. Against Garen, it's a little bit tricky, because Garen can first silence you, right? So Garen should have an okay time in that matchup, but we'll see. Now this Lux gets completely caught. Once again, she tries to poke, but she's just exposed. She just gets knocked up by the Galio. They're really not playing well around the bush vision. They're not respecting the Galio threat in these bushes. They really have to step up their game here. Otherwise, they will just keep losing. I mean, it's 0-0 on the score board, okay? 2.5 minutes in, and we have a 1,000 gold advantage for MBR. That is unacceptable right now from the side of Eagle. But again, the nerves are blank. Like, they are probably, like, it's the semi-final. If they drop out here, they're probably out, right? So, I mean, for maths, maybe there's a third place match, but who cares about that, right? You want to win. So Eagle 365 completely backed up against the wall with their backs, right? Because it's match point for MBR in this best of 5. So you really, really need to step up here. Otherwise, it will just be a complete blowout in this game, because we've seen how well MBR can snowball. And once again, they have a extremely strong early game. The Garen was trying to make something happen, but he was trying to get the solo kill, I believe, on the Pantheon under the tower, but ends up completely getting dropped. Ooh, the Pantheon flashes away, man, from the Diana. Oh my god, look at this Orianna following up as well. The Diana might die. No, she does not. But the bot lane, we have a huge exchange again. The Lux ends up dropping. Who got the kill? Who got the kill? Let me see. Who got the kill bot lane? We didn't see it. We'll see it on the scoreboard. If the Tristana gets it, it's okay. But if the Galio got it, then it's a disaster, because the Varus got the kill onto Tristana, is able to push this wave into the tower, so Tristana is going to lose further minions. So, yeah, even if Tristana got the kill onto Lux, it is not worth, for the bottom lane at least. But of course, top lane, the Pantheon just styling on Eagle completely, doing so much work. Guys, this is a legendary Baron Laner. This is just an absolutely legendary Baron Laner in esports. I've never seen such a dominating performance by one guy on such interesting picks as well. Like, what? That is just crazy. That is just absolutely crazy. Anyway, Lux is trying her best here to poke, is trying her best to do well, but in the end, she is just getting a little bit destroyed here by that Tristana Galio combo. Seems like a really strong combo. Seems like MBR really likes that combo. Definitely something you need to watch out for when playing against this team. And Galio is just trapping this Lux once again, but that is a huge Diana ult. However, it is also a huge Pantheon ult. But blue team actually winning the fight pretty hard so far. Ooh, but the Pantheon is just clutching it. Nope, he dies in the end to the piercing arrow. The Varus beautiful flash away right at the end there, away from the Orianna. However, in the end, it looked like a victory for Eagle. I think it was an even trade in the end. But because MBR, or it was pretty even, I can't keep track of everything, guys. I'm really sorry. The Graves just gets poked and gets finished by the dragon, and now Eagle actually gets the dragon. I was gonna say MBR looking good there because they're able to get the dragon at the end, but no, the dragon gets stolen, and also the Graves ends up dying. So this is a huge victory for Eagle right now. We'll see what happened exactly here. See, the dual lane gets blown up instantly by the Diana ult, but the Pantheon clutches it up, gets a kill for himself, gets another kill onto the Garen. Meanwhile, the Diana ends up dying as well in the backline. So it was kind of even. It looked good for MBR though, but I think it was a 3-for-3 in the end. But of course, Eagle ends up getting another kill onto Graves and to the dragon. So they are pretty happy with that. They can be very glad because they're only 2k gold behind now. So this is looking good. Oh, this is good. So much shielding coming in, man. The barrier, the Galio shield to shield from the Lux ult. Beautifully done, but in the end, Camille ended up overextending here, ends up dropping, the Garen ends up dropping as well, and the Graves survives with a sliver of health. And of course, the Graves has phase rush, guys. That is the whole reason why Graves is good now, but I don't even need to get into that at this point. And honestly, so far, we have seen Orianna every single game with Phase Rush. I haven't seen a single Conqueror Orianna now, so that's really good. So we know that Orianna with Phase Rush is the way to go. Sheesh, man. That is pretty crazy. How amazing this series is so far, even though it seems like even this game, let's be real, MBR is still winning, okay? Because they also have the better late game with that Tristana and with the Orianna. So if they can get to the late game, they should theoretically win these team fights. So even though it might end up being a 3-0, this is an amazing series. I've never seen such a good 2-0 so far, at least. I've never seen such a good 2-0. It's crazy. With the Gragas phase rush, like, it's crazy, man. The Pantheon. Whew, super nice. And now we have the Rift Herald being taken down. Who's gonna get it? Graves gets the Smite fight, wins it. And I believe, yeah, the Smite of Camille wasn't even ready. So there's that. Or maybe she used it. Yeah, maybe she used it, but she had 2 charges, so now, you know, something like that. But yeah, we have Camille getting caught once again. She is really out of position very often this game so far. The Pantheon does not get sniped. Is he going to die to the Ignite? No, he does not. He survives with a sliver of health from the Ignite. And he also survives, like the piercing arrow was a millimeter away from him. In the end, the only casualty in that whole fight there was the Camille. Eagle was they were trying to get that mid lane tower, but they weren't able to. And guys, this Orianna, once again, just like in game 1, she is just reaching critical mass at this point. 7,000 gold, has the Liandry's, is building the Archangel staff. Look at this Graves as well. Went for the Black Cleaver into Phantom Dancer, which is exactly what I recommend you to do as well, guys. I know the Youmuu's is really cool and all, but the Black Cleaver got buffed. It's just so good now. You gotta go for it first. You gotta go for that Phantom Dancer as well as a second item. So the Youmuu's might not even be in the build anymore. I would probably go for a Duskblade now or an Infinity Edge. And then somewhere you probably want to have a GA for esports. For solo queue, you can go for the Death Stance instead. Yeah, it's definitely might... Because if you don't go Youmuu's as a first item for the early game and mid game roaming potential for the move speed, then I don't think it's that cool of an item anymore. If you go first or second, it's still good. But after that, I'm not sure. Especially in esports. You don't really need it because you should have good enough rotations with your whole team that you won't really need to be that fast. Because Youmuu's, the whole reason of Youmuu's, why it's so broken still in solo queue, is so you can be everywhere at once. So you can really babysit all your lanes at once as a jungler. But while I'm saying that, the Infernal Dragon is being dangerously taken low. Who's gonna get the Smite fight? No one. The Varus piercing arrow gets it from all the way downtown. And it seems like so far no one dying. The Pantheon wants some kills, but he ends up going way too deep, ends up dropping. The Tristana gets the crit onto the Varus, but it is not enough to finish him off. That was honestly a very lucky crit, man. Can't complain that the Varus gets away. Should complain that the Tristana gets a lucky crit, honestly. And Tristana ends up taking that opportunity to push the tower, but she almost ends up dying. Gets saved from the Ignite by the Command Protect of Rihanna. Sheesh, man. Still, in the end, terrible for MBR. They got a little bit of the mid lane tower. Yeah, half of it. But holy moly, is that terrible. They lost the Infernal Dragon to the Varus snipe. And yeah, guys, listen, both junglers are absolute losers this series so far, okay? They're cosplaying me. Because they're losing the Smite fights to Zigzult, to Varus piercing arrow all the time. It's absolutely crazy. Whew. Okay, let's calm down here a little bit. Let's analyze how this late game situation will look. Once again, you have a really fed Orianna. You have a really fed Tristana. Do you have anything that can kill them? Yeah, you have very good dive potential with the Camille, with the Diana. Do you have anything that protects them from this? Once again, yes, because late game, while yes, Pantheon drops off hard in the late game, you can transition, like his damage drops off, but you transition into a peeling support style gameplay where you just protect your high priority targets on your team with that stun, with that shield. You also have the Galio, which is a huge counter to anything that dives onto your teammates because you can just pop down that ult. But this Tristana is completely caught out. That was a huge mistake. Beautiful Lux binding, and the tower goes down. So I think it's still good for MBR, but getting a kill on Tristana really can change the tide of the game. But now this Lux is completely caught out. Beautiful Orianna ult to finish the job there with that command attack and dissonance. And now we have what I'm talking about with that Galio ult. You see, it kind of almost turned the tide of the game, or the tide of that team fight. But in the end, it was a little bit too, it wasn't enough. Pantheon ends up going in, the Orianna with some fleet footwork, even though she has the face rush, to dodge that piercing arrow, and the Pantheon ends up flashing away. So they get the kill onto the Garen in the end, in return, but they completely lost that team fight so hard, and Eagle can be very, very happy with that. They're only 3,000, 3.6k gold, 3.8k gold behind. They get the tier 1 tower in the mid lane finally, and honestly, they're catching some... they're able to catch their breath a little bit here. Now, once again, late game, I think this is pretty doomed for them. Varus can be okay late game, but not against... Like, the enemies don't have a lot of tanks, man, you know? Like, yeah, you're gonna blow up that Galio very quickly, and yeah, your piercing arrow is gonna do a lot of damage to the Tristana and Orianna, and even Graves, but not as much as you might think. And take a look at his Graves build right now. Black Cleaver into Phantom Dancer into the Death Stance. So he went for something very defensive. I was talking about the Death Stance being a very viable item on Graves, especially in conjunction with that Phantom Dancer shield. It just fits really well together. It can really save you a lot when you drop low. But, again, I feel like he's just... what he's doing, basically... I'm just trying to tell you guys, don't do this in solo queue, because you will lose your games. In solo queue, you have to treat the game as if your team is absolutely degenerate, but he's going way too deep right now. He ends up flashing away, but the Camille is able to get the Orianna. Only Lux dead so far for the side of Eagle. So Eagle definitely looking pretty happy with this team fight so far. The Varus ult only hits the Galio, not able to spread the disease to the other enemies there. But as I said, Eagle looking really good, man, because they got the shutdown on the Orianna. They killed 2 priority targets. In the previous team fight, they were able to catch out that Tristana at the start of it, and now at the start of this team fight, they were able to catch out the Orianna. Again, you need to protect these targets. Now, once again, guys, back to this Graves discussion. Eagle, by the way, with all those steals, with that steal on that piercing arrow onto the Infernal Drake, they're able to get the Cloud Drake this time as well after the victorious team fight, and that just means they have 3 dragons. So honestly, even though MBR outscales, it is not a position to be in. And it seems like, honestly, I have to admit, looking at these last team fights, I have to admit I was underestimating the Varus potential in the late game. Now, Lethality Varus is really just there to win the lane, and then in the late game, you can definitely poke out targets, but it has a decent amount of cooldown, and compared to the AP Varus playstyle, you are not really able to just one-shot tanks, right? Completely. So I thought it would just outscale, but it would get outscaled. But considering how much range it has, along with the Lux range, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's not that bad, because Tristana has a lot of range, but she only has auto attacks. The Varus gets clowned in the auto attack range compared to Tristana, but he clowns on her with his piercing arrow. He clowns on everybody in the game with his piercing arrow, but that is a huge Galio taunt. But the Varus ult is positioned so well, ends up rooting a lot of enemies. The Camille goes in, the Galio ult ends up knocking up only 1 enemy, and so many GAs though being popped. Only the Orianna dead so far, but a blue team double kill right now for the Diana. She gets the Pantheon as well, but she ends up losing her life along with the Camille dying as well. That was a crazy team fight. So many Guardian Angels are now off the picture. you have to watch out. That was a huge mistake by the Varus. He could have definitely survived if he just moved away. Just take a look at this again. He has to just run away here, but he just keeps auto-attacking. And then Zhonya's, when the Galio is right there, able to knock you up right after the Zhonya's, and the Lux ends up dying to the Ignite. Not to the Ignite, to the red buff. Same thing almost, of that Tristana. And now that is going to be an extremely free Baron buff. The Garen is not going to be able to just solo these 3 enemies, although he might try. He has his ultimate available in 2 seconds. He might try, yeah, if he gets the... Yeah, exactly, that's what I was going to say. If he gets the ult onto the Tristana, that's looking good. Now he can just keep going. They have no mana. Well, the Galio has mana, but the Graves doesn't have mana. Now the teleport comes in by the Camille, and the Marksman is dead. The Marksman is dead, bros. The Camille goes deep, does so much damage with the true damage onto the Galio, but the Garen is being cocked, does not get hit by the command Dissonance, dodges to the side. Very well done. What a clown fiesta, man. That is hilarious. But Eagle, you have to commend them. They're doing still really well. They're still fighting. They're not giving up quite yet. Lots of damage being put out by that Orianna, though. It's very, very scary to play against her at this point of the game. Such a strong champion still. Guys, I'm a little bit worried here. Is some crazy gameplay so far by both teams. I'm a little bit worried for MBR. Usually I would still say, even with that 3 dragon advantage, I would still say, as long as they can get the the Elder Dragon, MBR is still easily in the game with that late game power. But if Eagle gets the Elder, it's game over, bruv, instantly. Not even close. Not even close. So we'll have to see. I will take a look at these item builds. Everything is very standard. Yep. Standard. Standard Varus build as well. I'm a little bit proud of myself that I was able to first try. I was like, people were spamming try lethality Varus. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. I picked Varus and I just made the build up as I was playing the game, and it was exactly that build. It's exactly the build that the pros use. But guys, MBR, they handshake the Baron for quadruple dragon, and of course Eagle wants to fight instantly. Now MBR has to run away and just split push. They have to run away. That was a huge mistake for Pantheon to die there, and now the Galio keeps trying to go in, bro. That is not a position you want to be in. Tristana gets there. Oh my god, she uses Sonya's onto the Diana ult, flashes away. 3 people ended up dying in the end on the side of Eagle, but man, that is so risky, bro. They have 4 dragons. They are so incredibly powerful right now, but they still take the fight, and now they might. It was very worth it in the end, because they might just end the game. Look at this Varus poke, man. Now keep in mind, look at the difference. Look at the difference. Look at the difference. Look at the Q. Boom! Look at this damage when they have Blight stacks. And he's not going AP, he's going full AD. And now look at the second Q, because of course it resets the cooldown almost immediately. Look, that is 0 damage, bruv. Oh, hold up, I think it actually poked out the full Seraph shield. Look how many Qs he can shoot. Varus is a machine gun like game, man. I'll play some Varus. It's really fun, isn't it? Anyway, whenever I watch these esports matches, I can't wait to stream, man. Just want to play some Wild Rift. Really fun. They really improved it, guys. If you remember 2 months ago, I was very vocal about how terrible the game is. It was terrible. Let's be real. So many people quit. I wasn't kidding. Oh, but this guy's dead. Yeah, he dies to the death stance. To his own death stance, a burn. But yeah, huge mistake there. Huge mistake. This is not good. Now, again, I was talking about how terrible the game was, right? And let's be absolutely real, man. It was. The balance was all over the place. It was so bad. Just the bans is like the people not getting banned, people running it down every game. I don't know. It just wasn't too interesting. But 2.3, phase rush, the new champions, I really unriven. They're not too broken either. They're definitely very strong, but they're not too broken. Oh, the Camille is going deep, but she went too deep. She has her Zhonya's, she has the GA. The Pantheon just completely cocks the Varus there. So much damage coming in, but look at this, man. Look at this Garen with 4 dragons, Garen and Diana just shaving through the enemy team composition and getting 2 kills. The Orianna dead, the Galio dead. This means there's not a lot of CC. That is very, very dangerous for this side of MBR. I think Eagle is going to win this. At this point of the game, the gold lead does not matter at all. The late game advantage still matters, but Varus proving me wrong here. I thought he's not that strong late game. Lethality playstyle Varus, especially because he's very immobile. You would expect a Tristana to completely outcarry him. Now, I still think Tristana is stronger than Varus, but it's not as much of a difference as I thought. So Varus seems like a really hot commodity right now in Wild Rift Esports. Now, again, the situation for that Pantheon as well, right? I was saying he's really weak late game. He is, but he's a lot less weak than he used to be because he has all those buffs, right? They made him much stronger late game in the previous 2 patches. So he's honestly not that bad. You can see he finished up that Varus very easily by himself there in that team fight. So as long as Onion King plays well here, he can still definitely have a lot of impact, even diving onto the enemy carries if the situation allows for it. Now this is just, guys, this is just mind-blowing. I honestly don't know who's gonna win. I would say Eagle 4 dragons is so strong. So strong. Now, luckily, it's not an Infernal Elder, it's a Mountain Elder. But the Mountain Elder, look at his shield on Diana. Like, look at this shield on Diana. It's just disgusting, right? Look at the shield on Lux even. 1/3, like, bro. And they just can't die. It's so hard. The Garen is unkillable, you know? And they have all the other dragons as well. Like, it's really tough. It's really tough. And the Galio, you saw it right there on your screen. He ended up getting caught. Oh, it's probably going to be a free Baron. Now, Galio is only the support, so it's the least of the... Like, if you want to have one person dead on your team late game, then it's going to be the support, right? But, yeah. The thing is, the Graves is terribly useless at this point, okay? Because he really gets outranged. Like, he can't melee range a Garen, he can't melee range a Camille, he can't melee range a Diana. And the other 2 just outrange him so hard. The Lux Binding and the Varus poke. It's just really hard for Graves to do anything. It's honestly not a good pick so far. But the Tristana dying right there. The Camille ended up dying as well though. The Garen is unkillable. Especially with that, what's it called? Gargoyles, I believe, was used there. At least I think so. He had that stone action going on himself. The stone skin. But yeah, 24-minute game, guys. That is wild. That is really, really wild. Sheesh, man. And again, I think Eagle is in just such a good position here. I definitely got proven wrong with that Varus, man. I'm glad. I'm glad. We learned something new today, guys. The Varus is much stronger than this little Dumbo shurkou thought initially in the late game. So, yeah. Should try it out more. Let's see if his build is a little bit different for the last 2 items than mine. I go for a Duskblade. Let's see if he goes for Duskblade. He might not go for it. I think Black Cleaver is something possible, but not ideal. But with the buff, it might be something possible because of all the ability haste he gives you. And the thing is, you poke from range, you don't really auto-attack that much. You rely on your ult to spread those blight stacks. Maybe he went for a Blade of the Ruined King for the utility late game, or even for a Phantom Dancer maybe, for some attack speed and that shield, which is big. I know you're not building crit, but hey, it's like 25% crit, 20% crit, something like that, so it's not that bad. But now you can see the Camille, the strength, man. Late game Camille just split pushing. 4 dragons, nothing's gonna stop her. Nothing's gonna stop her. I think Eagle seems like the worst team. No offense, but Eagle seems like the worst team late game. They seem to be a little bit lost here. I think in the same situation, flip the sides, MBR would have ended this game already. Because as you can see, they're a little bit lost. But now, who is caught here? Who is that? The Tristana. Okay, so that's a big priority target. I couldn't see it because of the zombies, but the Graves jumps over the wall and secures the Baron with a smite. I think they will just lose the fight though. The Orianna top is really important. Is she gonna die? If the Orianna, show the Orianna. The Orianna ends up dying. Yeah, the Orianna was getting dolphed by the Diana. She ends up dying. Beautiful finisher there by that Pantheon. He just jumps away. He just jumps away to safety into his base. Very well done. However, the Orianna dead, that just means your wave clear is gone. That is the biggest, that is the most important enemy to kill for Eagle. Because with the wave clear gone, the Varus can actually probably move up to these towers. Now that's the thing about Varus. He has a lot of range on his piercing arrow, but he has no range at all on his auto attacks. Like, it's terrible, right? Compared to something like a Tristana, something like a Jinx with those rockets. So you really can't push towers too well. If there's an enemy Orianna, she can just put the ball there and you can't move up to the tower because she'll just ult you. So it's way too dangerous. So that is the thing, why they need to kill this Orianna. But man, MBR is still doing an amazing job fighting back. And they do have some Baron buffs left, I believe on Pantheon and on Graves. So they can still get some value out of split pushing, especially with the Pantheon, because the Pantheon, of course, has the ultimate to join up the fight, or if he gets attacked, he can try to jump away with it. So it is not completely lost for MBR, but I'm telling you guys, Eagle, I'm worried. They need some draft miracles next game. I think if MBR look at the Graves position, he's completely inside the enemy base and he's going for the flank. Is he gonna kill the Varus? He gets the GA. Even if he dies, it's worth. Well, he's not even dying so far. Okay, he ends up dying. But if they kill this Varus, it's completely worth. They get him. Beautiful Orianna shockwave to finish it up. But look at this Garen with the 4 dragons. Completely destroying this Orianna. The Tristana is alive. The Graves is dead. The Galio is dead. It is a 4 versus 2. And I think Eagle is gonna end this game with this push. It would be mind-blowing if MBR is able to defend this 2 versus 5. Nope, that was a sick binding, man. The Tristana gets caught. It is game over. Both are in the Guardian Angel, but Tristana flashes away. He's not even able to jump away. It just ends up dying. Too much damage coming in. The Pantheon will die as well. Nope, he will not. He will live another day. But the base, the Nexus, is gone. What a game, guys. That is mind-blowing. That is absolutely mind-blowing. Jesus Christ. I cannot wait to check out the next game. Like, who's gonna win this, man? Look at this Diana. 13-3-7. You definitely want to ban Diana. Ban Diana, MBR. Only ban Diana. You don't have to change anything else. Don't pick Graves. Not a fan of him, man. Still not too strong of a champion, man. If you want to make him work, you really need Infinity Edge. So he had to go Infinity Edge instead of Phantom Dancer if you want to have any damage coming from him. But yeah, honestly, they could have won this game if they just didn't get caught all the time. And if they didn't give the Infernal, the Elder for free. The Elder, I believe it was a Mountain Elder. If they didn't give that for free, they could have still won this game. And if the Orianna and Tristana didn't get caught so often. Let's check out these damage numbers. Diana is, guys, he has elite stats, literally. 13-3-7. Like, what is that, bro? But the Varus out-damaging 55k. Sheesh, man, that's crazy. That is very impressive. Now, let me check that Varus build. Yeah, he goes for the Dustblade. Same build as me. Literally 1-to-1. Yo, buddy, are you watching my videos or what? Huh? Guys, I'm insane, bro. I'm the best. Anyway, guys, we will move straight away into Game 4. Once again, could be the last game because it is still match point for MBR. Now, yeah, let's get right into it. Alright guys, jumping straight into game number 4 draft here. We have MBR picking the first pick this time around, and it seems like they listened to my advice and they ended up banning out the Diana this time, along with that Darius, and the usual pick that they banned out, the Rengar, they actually ended up first picking this time around, and it seems like Eagle 365 really banning out the Katarina, which is extremely interesting, along with the Fiora as well. They respond to the Rengar first pick with a Camille and a Gragas. So Gragas not banned. Okay. Eagle gets it though, so we won't see Onion King on that crazy Gragas. We might see Onion King on Rengar though. Baron Lane Rengar, not too bad. I hope we will see that. But yeah, we have Janna and Tristana picked. Very smart to pick away the Tristana. Or to pick the Tristana again, honestly. MBR doing a pretty good job. Last game was a little bit shaky, but still, it definitely worked very well for them in game 1. And it worked well in early game 2 as well. So we have a Ziggs and a Varus pick. So again, Varus secured for Eagle. That is really good. I think MBR should have tried to secure that. And they didn't pick the Galio, which is very interesting, right? They love the Galio and Tristana combo. They ended up just picking Janna with it. I guess Janna just hard counters the Camille. And honestly, the Camille was a pretty decent problem like last game. So that is why they want to do that. Then they pick the Orianna once again. So again, they have the late game potential. Pantheon, Baron Lane once again, most likely. And then we have, the Galio on the enemy side. So that should be really exciting. We have the Ziggs as well in the mid lane. Whew, how is this going to turn out? Let me just move my camera. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now, again, this could be the last match because we have MBR with that 2-1 advantage. Now, Fleet Footwork, Rengar in the jungle, very interesting. Fleet Footwork Rengar. Usually you see Electrocute or Conqueror, but Fleet Footwork, I guess I'll have to try it out. Definitely going to help him in the early game for that healing in the jungle. He tends to drop pretty low, but it's also going to help you jump onto the enemy, you get that move speed with that first jump, and then you could just run them down, especially if you have Duskblade. We'll see if he goes for the Duskblade. It got buffed. It fits Rengar extremely well now. But what we usually see in esports is Trinity into Death Stance, into pretty tanky, you know, Sterox. I honestly like that Rengar build a lot. Like, it's just completely broken. You're so tanky. You have the synergy with tanky stats because of your healing on your second ability. So it's a really, really good option to go Bruiser type on Rengar right now in Wild Rift, because his base damage is still so insane that you're still going to one-shot most squishies anyway. Now, other than that, very standard here. We have a very safe matchup here, or draft here by MBR, because they really want to play around those late game carries here. They're probably not going to try to go too crazy early game. Ziggs gets poked, but the Rengar just jumps over the wall straight onto the blue buff, and he will get caught, but he waits for the taunt to come out and instantly uses his empowered second ability to get away from the CC. Ends up completely outplaying 3 enemies with that and securing his team the first blood. And I believe he stole the blue. He did not steal the blue. The Gragas has it. Yeah, I think the Gragas has it. Maybe he doesn't. The Gragas has it. Never mind. But the Gragas has to flash away. And almost ends up getting dropped, but the Varus is the only one to get dropped. The Janna follows suit though, and I think that's a beautiful Camille roam from all the way from the Baron lane. She secures the kill onto the Orianna. Is not able to finish the Tristana. She had a sliver of health. And once again, I thought it's going to be a Baron lane Gragas, right? I think that's what we all thought, but it is actually a jungle Gragas with the Camille Baron lane going up against the Pantheon, and now we just have... What happened there at the end, man? Jesus Christ, look at this. So they get the kill onto the Rengar, right? Under the tower. Yeah. And now the Tristana just goes way too greedy, man. Tries to kill the Gragas. Is he gonna die to the explosion? I don't think so. Nope. Way too greedy by this Tristana player, man. He has to just calm down. His team is ahead in the games, you know, in the series. Even last game, he had to just calm down a little bit. He had so many over-aggressions, man. He just has to calm down. Just no need to do anything. Just calm down, chill out, and it's gonna be fine. Okay? Huge aggression already. We have 6 kills in 3 minutes, which is pretty crazy. We have a 1,000 gold lead for Eagle 365. So they're definitely doing well, trying to, even out the series to get their own match point to try to force this game number 5. We'll see if they will be able to. The Ziggs has that bone plating, even against the Orianna matchup. I feel like maybe there's some other options that could be better. Maybe the conditioning for the late game. Maybe the second wind. I know it's doubled for melee champions, so you might not want to take it for ranged champions. But since Orianna really tends to poke a lot, I guess bone plating is pretty good because she doesn't really just poke once. She QWs and tries to auto attack you, especially with phase rush. That's the whole reason to go for it. You QW auto attack, you proc the phase rush, and you can just run the enemies down with it. It's extremely strong on Orianna because of that, for those trades early game as well. And you can proc it with QWE because the command protect will move through the enemy if your ball was placed behind them, and will trigger instantly 3 instances of damage onto the enemy, which again will just set you up from a very long range with that phase rush to run the enemy down with auto attacks. So yeah, I guess it makes sense to go for bone plating against her. I feel like the Pantheon got a little bit bamboozled here with the Camille top lane. I don't think he wants to go up against the Camille. I'm not sure though. I definitely think he's going to struggle more so than the previous matchup. But yeah, that's a huge catch onto that Rengar, but it is not enough to finish him up. But this Ziggs is in huge trouble. You see the Rengar move into the bush and then finish him with another jump, but he ends up taking his life as well for it because the Varus had a very good ultimate. Now the Pantheon ult completely follows up and is very well placed. The Varus gets another kill. Triple kill for Varus. Finishes the Janna with the piercing arrow, and another kill goes over to the side of Eagle with that Orianna dying right at the end. And the dragon will most likely be secured. Onion King tries to steal it with his spear, but is not able to do so. Guys, this is pretty insane, man. These are some crazy matches so far. Absolutely mind-blowing. And we have the Pantheon just split pushing bot lane a little bit. He's going to go back. He's probably going to go for that Black Cleaver. I believe he went Black Cleaver first item last game, which again is exactly what you should be doing. The Rengar is going to go... Again, I'm not sure what he's going to go for. We have to see his item build. He's going for the Trinity, yeah. Trinity build into probably Death Stance, Sterox, you know, all of that stuff. Maybe if he's a Chant, he will go for Trinity into Duskblade. That's very viable as well. But yeah, we'll see. The Camille is doing pretty well in this matchup against the Pantheon. She is 400 gold behind. But she has 4 assists, she has 1 kill. So honestly, she shouldn't be that far behind. But I think she roamed earlier, you know, he ulted. Like, she lost more minions because he ulted in. I'm not sure. She probably... look at this Gragas, by the way. 404 Gragas, and he decides to go full AP, has the Electrocute as well. That is pretty wild. Jungle Gragas full AP is not something you see all the time. Other than that, we have the Infinity Edge straight away onto that Tristana, and the Varus, of course, going for that full lethality Manamune build once again. I shouldn't call it lethality because it's called armor penetration in Wild Rift, excuse me. But yeah, we have an Ardent Sensor already completed on Janna, which is going to provide huge value for her Tristana, for the Orianna, and for the Rengar as well. And honestly, for the Pantheon, pretty good too. Ooh, the Orianna Shockwave finishes the Galio maximum range. The Janna ult is beautiful to keep the team healthy, and the Rengar flashes over the wall to finish the low HP Varus as well. So MBR doing pretty well right now in these last 2 exchanges here, or in his last exchange especially. The Camille ends up following up though. The Rengar will surely die. Another kill goes over to the Gragas, and the Galio ult follows up to keep him safe from the Tristana. The Tristana really wanted that kill. Oh, but the Tristana gets caught again. She did 1 auto attack too many. Beautiful flash engage by the Galio. And once again, the Tristana had flash though, man. She could have flashed away. Big mistakes by this Tristana player so far. I mean, that was the smallest one so far because the Galio engage was beautiful. He flashed over the wall and instantly taunted. But still, you're a pro player, you know, you should have the reaction speed to flash away from that. So yeah, Eagle 365, at the end of that, they are able to clean up a lot of these kills after they lost the fight, and they are able to still set themselves up for a beautiful advantage. 4k gold advantage, basically. Super, super good for them. Now, we'll see who gets this next dragon. Of course, Eagle has the dragon as well. We have the mountain dragon spawning in like 40 seconds or something, 30 seconds. The Galio ends up getting completely caught though. Big mistake. MBR doing extremely well, using that Rengar ult to catch him out. Now the Rengar is too deep. Is he going to be able to heal? Oh, he heals! Beautiful gameplay! Look, he double healed. Ah, but he still dies. Ooh, yeah, he still dies to the auto attack of Ziggs, but is the Ziggs gonna die now? Has the Zhonya's gets knocked up? Ooh, beautiful spear, man. I was gonna be so tilted if he doesn't die to that Liandry's, but Pantheon doesn't leave it up to luck. He just shoots the spear, hits it bullseye, does not end up dying there either. The Camille isn't gonna die either, but Tristana gets the plate onto the tower, and honestly, pretty good in the end. Pretty good in the end. MBR definitely keeping themselves in this game, but man, Eagle playing so much better than the previous, than in the first two games. They definitely stepped up a lot. And using that Varus really well, 2 games in a row, man. Guys, I said it. I think MBR should have picked Varus in the draft. And look what's happening. They could have picked it. They could have picked it pretty early. I think the Varus has a lot of value because he is very decent late game, as we saw in the previous game. And he also just is a complete lane bully early game. So yeah, you definitely are gonna win early game pretty well with the Varus, and you will be able to snowball it extremely well. I mean, Eagle last game, they were losing, right, the early game, and they still were able to come back with the Varus, with some cheeky Infernal Dragon steals. Or one Infernal Dragon steal, of course, by him with a piercing arrow. A little bit of a glitch on the screen right there. Scary, spooky. Seems like the demons are being... the demons are possessing my laptop today. Maybe it was probably from the video, from the stream. But yeah, I was just trying to make a joke. Demonic possession, you know? I know you guys love that. There you go. Did I move my camera? Oh, thank the Lord. Jesus Christ. Imagine I didn't move my camera. Camera right in the middle. I did that once. I recorded like 8 minutes. Camera right in the middle of the screen. Had to re-record. Jesus Christ. That was disgusting. But yeah. We have Gragas pretty healthy there, you know. Full AP, I believe. Has that electrocute. He should probably have probably Liandry's, Rabadon's, and the Rod of Ages right now. But we'll see if I'm right. Maybe he went for Lich Bane instead of the Liandry's, but I know he was going for the Rabadon second. So he really wanted to deal a lot of damage in his burst. MBR really doing well. I mean, they're still behind. But again, this is where the late game team composition kicks in once again with that Tristana and Orianna. And now they even have a Janna to keep them safe from the Camille. So that's really a big component here. The Gragas ends up catching the Rengar off screen. We did not see that. Probably a big mistake there by Rengar because his team was, 3 of them were mid. So you probably shouldn't be venturing around in the river there by himself. But yeah, look at this Gragas, guys. 606, most gold in the entire game. Has the Rod of Ages, has the Rabadons. And honestly, he's probably sitting on a lot of gold towards that Liandry's. So he should be able to get that quite soon. Again, he could go for a Lich Bane instead. Would be very, very decent as well. Look, you see? I'm telling you guys. I don't like the build too much, okay? I don't like this Trinity into Sunfire Aegis on Rengar too much. But I did try it a couple times. I couldn't make it work. I prefer a little bit more aggressive with the death stance. But I'm telling you, the tank Rengar is insanely broken. And while I'm saying that we have a huge engagement coming on, the Varus ends up dropping to the Janna, not the target that should get it, but this time the Galio ends up dropping to the Tristana, so that's of course the target that should get the kill. The Orianna dances around the fight there, dodges the Ziggs ult, or only gets hit by the edge, I believe. The Ziggs ends up killing that Rengar, but look at this, man. Now it's just resets galore on the Tristana. She jumps in deep. The Ziggs is able to save himself with his Zhonya's into a flash over the wall. And he... What? What is Tristana doing? What are you doing? Guys, if we are to crown the best thrower in this game, it's definitely Tristana. Beautiful flash by that Orianna. She knows the Ziggs has nothing to escape, so she just ends up going deep, flashes in, finishes him off right before the enemies respawn, and gets away with her life. Man, I'm telling you, this Tristana really trying hard to lose this game. Really trying hard. That is insane, man. I have rarely seen something like that. Oh, Eagle in a pretty good position now. Again, triple dragon. This seems like a repetition of the last game. We once again, oh, but the Pantheon going deep. He wants to engage. He's not going to take too much damage. He was able to shield before the taunt comes out, so he doesn't take a lot of damage, but he ends up dropping in the end. As soon as the shield is over, you will take 1 billion damage as Pantheon. The Rengar goes in, but he doesn't really want to. He is able to dodge away from all the skill shots, though, with the move speed he gets from the empowered second ability. And now this Galio is in a big amount of trouble, but the Ziggs ult is beautiful and chunks the enemy so low. And oh my god, look at the Varus snipe. Varus snipe and Tristana is dead. Boom, easy peasy. That is clutch. That is very clutch. Off screen there, ends up dying to the Varus piercing arrow. That is super clutch. Of course, the Rengar ended up dying as well. Too much damage coming in from the Ziggs ult. And yeah, the Janna dies as well. Huge mistakes right now. Eagle is getting a free victory here. I think MBR was in a pretty good situation. Like, they were able to crawl back. They were behind early, but they were able to crawl back. They had the outscaling team comp. They just had to wait. Well, holy moly. And keep in mind, the outscaling that I was talking about last game is way less this game, okay? Because I'm going to tell you something interesting in a bit as soon as we are done with this team fight narration, because the Orianna ends up dropping again. Huge engage onto the Pantheon as well. He ends up dying, is not able to finish up the Camille either, and now this Galio is in a little bit of trouble, but not too much. He's able to get away pretty safely. Baron buff goes over to Eagle. And now listen, last game I was very clear about how much Eagle was getting outscaled, right? Because Tristana, Orianna, very strong late game champions, and yeah, they were in a good position, right? But this game, it is not as easy. Because of course Tristana is stronger than Varus in the late game, that's no secret. I would say an AP Gragas is also stronger late game than a Rengar. I would say Camille is much stronger late game than the Pantheon. So you already have two champions that are outscaling. But now comes the issue. While I think Orianna is slightly stronger than Ziggs late game, I think the Shockwave is stronger than his damage. She has huge damage, but also huge CC. While the Ziggs pretty much only has huge damage and a slow and knock around, but he should use that to escape himself as Heschel Shard. He hard counters Orianna, if you didn't know, because he outranges her so hard that he can just keep poking her, even during team fights. He plops down the ult onto where she wants to move to get into range to position the Shockwave, and she can't do anything. So if the Ziggs plays well, which he is doing really well so far, I think it is no secret so far that Eagle's mid laner is probably their most important player, in this series at least. He hard carried on Diana last game with the lead stats 13-3-7, and this game, very good Ziggs performance so far. So it seems like he won't let us down mechanically. He will definitely deliver the performance that he has to deliver. So I think Eagle is probably just going to take this game. And we might see a game 5, which is mind-blowing. I didn't expect a game 5. I only checked the first 2 games. I saw in the first game we had some interesting picks with that Singed, and then I saw in the second game we had a phase rush Gragas. You know, I was like, okay, man, whatever, bro. I guess we'll check it out. I guess we'll check this best of 5. But bro, I didn't expect this to be this crazy. I think Eagle is gonna win. I'm betting on them. But again, last game I bet on MBR. And they still kind of lost, right? We'll see. And game 2 I was betting on Eagle. And they still lost, right? We'll see, we'll see. We will see. If they get 4 dragons and it's an Infernal Elder this time, ooh, the Gragas. But a huge E-flash by the Gragas. That was so good that he uses the ult and then instantly Zhonya's. That was a complete hard carry by the Gragas. They get all these kills, man. Eagle doing so well there. It looked pretty bad for him for a second. Beautiful flash away from the Galio taunt by the Orianna, but I think that Tristana is just going to end up dying here. Yeah, she can't really do much. The Pantheon tries to save her, but ends up dying as well. And this Gragas just smurfed. You have to ban Gragas. Oh my god. You have to pick away the Varus. The Varus is such a key component for both teams so far, it seems. You need Varus. I think this is going to be game over, yeah. The Gragas was getting caught, but then he just E-flashes onto 2 enemies, uses the ultimate before he drops with 300 health, 1 more auto attack by anybody and he's dead. He uses the Zhonya's and is able to survive the whole team fight. Absolutely mind-blowing. We have a 2-2. It's like they're scripting it, man. It's like truly like they're scripting it. The Orianna was doing much better than last game, but again, the Tristana had a very disappointing performance, and honestly, MBR tried 2 junglers that don't really have anything going for themselves in the late game. They don't have any big CC, Graves and the Rengar, and it seems like the team just crumbles instantly. I think what they want to do is they want to secure Lee Sin. They want to win the early game once again. They want to secure that Varus. And then they want to go for that mid lane Orianna, ban out the Ziggs, and yeah, ban out the Orianna maybe. Maybe the Fiora that they keep banning. I believe they keep banning Fiora, or I think they're banning Darius every game. Maybe that's going to be too much, but I don't know. I don't think you need to ban Darius if you're going to pick Pantheon. It's the perfect counter. So I want to see that coming from them to finish this series. And for the side of Eagle, you want to do exactly what you did this game. You want to try to get the Gragas because your jungle Gragas player is insane. One of the best Gragas I've seen so far. You want to get that Camille. She was really, really quintessential in the previous 2 games. She really provides so much to shut down these carries that are very important on the side of MBR here. And you want the Varus. Guys, if I was one of these teams, I would first pick Varus. I would pick Galio very early as well, okay? Yeah, we'll see what happens here. We will, of course, move straight away into the last game. Alright guys, there we are in the draft of the final game of this crazy series so far between Eagle and MBR. And I was saying how I wish MBR is gonna ban that Ziggs. They decided to do it. They leave the Diana open, which is honestly okay. You know, I would have banned her anyway, but it was okay. It was okay. You can definitely manage to counter her. Meanwhile, the Camille and the Fiora ban, I like that. I like the Camille ban by Eagle this time because MBR took the second pick and they know they can't first pick Camille. It's going to be too much of a commitment. So they ended up just banning it. Now, that means that MBR secures the Varus. Again, super good. Exactly what I wanted. And they take away the Gragas, which again, also something that I wanted to see. Now, the Ezreal being picked by Eagle here didn't do too well, I believe, in that one game, in game 2, I believe, of the series. And we have a Janna. I would have liked to see that Galio come out a little bit earlier, maybe. But yeah, we have the Graves pick, which is terrible in my opinion. Not a good choice at all. And a Baron, which is really good with Varus. So MBR is doing a lot of things right, but one thing very wrong. But Eagle finally gets that, what's it called? That Darius, along with the Vi in the jungle. Vi is extremely good to dive onto that, what's it called? Onto that Graves. So yeah, we'll see how this goes, man. The last pick was the Garen for that Baron lane, and we have with that a Gragas mid lane, okay? So it's not going to be Gragas jungle, it's going to be a Gragas mid lane this time around. But guys, this is crazy. I don't know who's going to win this. I think Gragas mid lane is very, very potent against the Diana. It's a pretty good pick against her. So he has that going for himself. I think Garen can do pretty alright against Darius as well. So that should be okay. I mean, they were constantly banning Darius, and this is the nerf Darius. So it seems like this Kips guy, or Chips guy, is just a really good Darius player because they were really respecting it, right? I believe they were the ones banning it. I'm pretty sure. Might be wrong, but yeah, we have that Vi in the jungle. Now, why did they pick Vi? I'm going to be telling you why. I'll tell you why they picked Vi. That was terrible. Anyway, the reason why is that you don't have Camille, but she's very similar, right? She can also single out that one enemy target. Also, she's pretty amazing against Graves because she can, if he gets caught out, he will really get caught out with her. Because if he gets caught out by a Lee Sin or something, he can dash away and stuff like that, but she's just going to lock him up. But the Graves is going deep right now onto her, and they're fighting. They need to show that. Come on, spectator. She flashed, bro. She flashed. You're missing the whole action, you piece of garbage. Anyway, the Graves is doing an amazing job this time, but he goes too deep. He goes too deep. The Janna shield, I think the Diana is going to be able to follow up. Yeah, the Janna gets the kill onto Graves, but the follow-up by that Gragas ends up, he doesn't even end up dying. They get the Diana as well, but this Darius is just too strong at this point. They get the kill onto the Baron, I believe, there at the end. What was that? Yeah, it is the Braum. It is the Braum. Excuse me, guys. I was losing a little bit track there. Too much action once again, man. So much action in this best of 5, man. That was a really good choice from me. Very lucky. Is what it is. Great content. But yeah, every single game was amazing. It's crazy. It's probably even better than the previous series, which is crazy, mind-blowing. But yeah, we have Vi going pretty deep here. They're fighting once again. Now this Janna has the Baron passive on her, which means she will most likely die, but the Garen ends up dropping as well. However, now we get another kill onto the Darius. The Graves is snowballing so hard. This is exactly what you want to see from the Graves. The issue is why I wasn't too happy with the Graves pick is that it's really hard to pull off. But this Graves exactly realized what he has to do. He didn't hit. He was stunned, wasn't he? He was stunned by your passive, by your ult. Oh man, that would have been a kill. That would have been a kill for Varus. That would easily finish off the Ezreal there. Oh well. Anyway, like I was saying, the Graves, it's so hard to pull that off, but he did extremely nicely with the macro because he ended up just invading hard onto the Vi, and Vi level 3 is not that weak, but the Graves has his passive on his third ability that gives him, for every time he dashes during a certain amount of time, he gets a stack, and he can keep refreshing these stacks, right? And the more stacks he has, the more armor he gets. So he's actually really strong at level 3. He's really strong for these early skirmish teamfights. Especially if the enemies have a lot of physical damage, like they do this game on the top side with that Darius and that Vi in the jungle. So he was perfectly set up for that skirmish, and with that advantage that they got already, 2,000 gold already ahead of Eagle here, MBR is going to be able to set up this Infernal Drake very well, and finally we have a strong Drake spawning early. That Infernal Drake is extremely potent. If you get it early game already, you're looking very good for the late game. And yeah, remember how in the first game, or in the second game I believe, I was saying how Ezreal outscales the Varus? I would say now, after seeing Varus late game, 2 games in a row, I think it's even. I think it's honestly even, because again, Ezreal isn't as strong as a Tristana or anything like that late game. So I think it's pretty even. So honestly, if MBR gets ahead here, they're looking pretty good for the late game. Diana ends up just getting completely dunked by the Darius. But then Vi, what a smooth criminal, jumps over the wall, gets in, and steals away the dragon. That is really big. You know what that reminds me of? You know these, you definitely know these bad burglar, like dumb burglar videos where it's like a hidden camera of a store, of a convenience store. Hold up, let's hold that thought, because the Darius seems like he's getting dove. He does get dove. He does end up getting dropped there. Vi wants to go in, but I don't think it's a good idea. She realizes that, jumps away, and the tower goes over to MBR. But yeah, that really reminded me of that situation where you have like a convenience store, it's like a camera, like a security camera, and you suddenly see someone dropping through the ceiling. Like he just drops onto everything and it's the burglar, and then he's caught and can't get out of the convenience store. That's what Vi was doing there. But she stole some nice groceries there, okay? She got that Infernal Dragon. But that is, of course, still really terrible because MBR is ahead 4.5k gold. Which is honestly really, really concerning at 6 minutes, man. MBR is just in such a good position right now. That is insane. That is completely mind-blowing. Even though they're behind that Infernal Dragon, they will get this Rift Herald pretty much uncontested. So that is very nice. Let me just check if everything is still right with the recording. I have a little bit of anxiety, you know, about these things because, Diana gets dropped because, you know, it would be very, very terrible if the recording would drop, because then I'm already spoiled by a lot of these things, right? Then the reactions aren't going to be genuine. That's why I always like to go into these esports matches blind. And it's also much more fun for me to check them out blind, because if I don't do that, then if I know what's going to happen, it's just way less exciting for me. But yeah, Diana ends up getting dropped. The tower ends up getting dropped as well. The Ezreal is able to return some tower damage in the bottom lane, but not too much. Not too much here. In the mid lane, excuse me. Now the mid lane tower is getting pressured here as well. We have a Kenemy and we have a Rift Herald as well. I think it's just going to drop. I think it's going to drop. Maybe a little bit of a premature Rift Herald here. Because, maybe not. I thought it's going to be safe. The Janna shield looked very thick, almost as thick as Janna, you know, onto the tower, but they're still able to get it with that Rift Herald, and they get another plate as well, but that is a huge Diana ult, bro. 5 man. If that's the only thing hitting the enemies, though, it's not going to be enough. So it is what it is. I actually flash. She Q flashed for that right there, and it didn't really get anything. So huge waste in the end. But man, oh man, MBR back to the performance of the first 2 games, especially the second game. Completely stomping. Now, again, they have the Varus. Didn't Eagle just win 2 games with Varus? And they didn't want to first pick it, because first picking Varus seems like such a waste, right? But man, probably should have done it. Probably should have done it. This is the classic example of an unsung hero, right? Because the Varus it doesn't seem like he's hard carrying. At the end of the day, the damage numbers are always insane, so, you know, it is what it is. MBR really making that pick shine here once again. Seems like Venus is much better with Varus than he is with Tristana. Because on Tristana he was getting caught all the time, and while I'm saying that, it seems like I jinxed him a little bit, because he's getting caught on that Varus as well. He ends up dropping to the Vi doing so much damage by herself. Ends up dying as well for it, and this Diana doesn't even get hit by the Gragas ult, but still ends up dying. So in the end, it's a 2-for-1 trade. So while they are able to kill the Varus, they ended up overcommitting way too hard for it, and they get 6.5k gold lead, I believe, right now, which is pretty insane. Yeah, pretty much 6.5k, and they will get the first dragon of their game here, because the first actual dragon, the Infernal, was stolen by the Vi. Now, I definitely give this game over to MBR right now, because once again, they can do pretty well in the late game. They have the Gragas as well, which is honestly pretty crazy late game. He is pretty far behind. The Graves is so far ahead now. Very dangerous right now, okay? If he goes... Okay, he seems to be going for a Mortal Reminder. If he goes for a Death Stance here, he would do very low damage once again. And he needs to deal a lot of damage because he got all the kills. He's 9,000 gold. Okay, he has 9,000 gold. So he's really far ahead of everybody on the enemy team. So he really needs... I would just go for an Infinity Edge, man. Because if you go for an Infinity Edge, yeah, you can't go as deep into those fights. But if someone, like, you can just fight at the outskirts of the fight, and even if you don't have that melee range where you hit all the bullets onto one enemy, even if you hit only 2, you will still do so much damage. With the Infinity Edge, with those crits, it's absolutely insane. So I really think Infinity Edge would be the best option here, but again, or a Duskblade. Duskblade is an amazing option as well, because you really just burst a lot with your ultimate and your burst ability. I like that build a lot as well. But yeah, definitely feels like he should go. Mortal Reminder is a pretty aggressive item still at the end of the day, so he's still going to deal a lot of damage with that. So yeah, maybe he's just sitting at the small item for the Grievous Wounds and is going to go for a Death Stance anyway. We'll see. Or an Infinity Edge anyway. Hey, we'll see. We'll see. He has a lot of options right now. Now this Ezreal is completely getting caught. I don't think they get him, but they force a flash. Very well played by this Braum. Good job. His name is Potato IRL. I'm a fan of MBR. They have Potato IRL and they have Onion King. That is pretty broken. I mean, what can I say? And they have Radiance. His name is Radiance, which is like degrees, but you know, the other measuring thing for degrees, Radiance. So yeah, that's crazy. Seems like he's a mathematical fan. You know, he's a fan of that quick maths. Man's not hot. But you know who's hot? Onion King, guys. Onion Daddy. I'm kidding. Chill, guys. No yaoi action for me today. I'm just trying to bridge the gap between these little boring parts where everyone just goes back to buy items and we don't even see the scoreboard. I want to see it. Come on. Come on. Give me something to talk about. Casters. Buddies. Spectator. Tristana, Vi gets the Trinity Force. So that is a pretty aggressive Vi build. Usually we see the Grievous Wounds item, the Executioner's Calling, right into the full tank build on Vi. Sunfire Aegis, full tank. But the Baron is already being taken down. They have almost an 8,000 gold advantage, so you can't really blame them for trying here. MBR is just that far ahead that they can try, but they're getting poked too hard by the Baron here, so they end up backing away. And look at the position of Eagle on the minimap right now. They can instantly push down this tower, and I think they will get it. This is really, really good. This is a pretty big mistake by MBR. They don't get it though. The Garen is enough to push them away. The Braum ult is beautiful onto the Janna. She gets silenced. She can't pop her own ult and instantly gets ulted by the Garen. Now the Vi is ulting onto that Varus, but he's really safe there, man. Yeah, he's really safe. I think he used Zhonya's, and Diana ended up Zhonya using her ult onto his Zhonya's only. So that is just a complete blowout. Nobody dying except for the Braum on the side of MBR, and only the Vi surviving. And I think this is really BM, and it's really toxic and stupid. I don't know why they do it. It was a good 2 for 2, man. Yeah, you're stomping the last game, but you don't need to use these butt emojis, bro. Just because you don't get any booty in real life. Sheesh, the burn, huh? Hey, they might be winning this best of 5 right now, but they will never win against shurkou in a roast battle, okay? Alrighty, guys. That was not bad, huh? Pretty proud about that one. Alright, let's calm down a little bit. Let's calm down. The Vi is gonna die here, 100%. She's completely caught out. Good job by the Braum there, moving into the path. Extremely well played. But meanwhile, the Dragon is being taken down by Eagle. So MBR wasting their time with that Vi. They get the Dragon taken away. Eagle once again showing brilliant Dragon control. Now, of course, the jungler is dead and the enemies are on the other side of the map. So the Baron will probably go over to MBR here. However, keep in mind, it will probably go over to MBR anyway. If Eagle gets this kill onto Garen, they're pretty happy with that. Well, he's too tanky, bro. Look at this. Nah, he's gonna die though. Yeah, beautiful Darius ult to finish him off. And now you have only 4 buffs. 4 Baron buffs. The Braum gets caught though. Huge mistake. No, this is not the Braum. This is the Darius. Excuse me. Darius gets caught in the end as well. So huge mistake. Very unfortunate there, because if they kept this 5 versus 4 situation, trying to defend, you know, with the enemy split pusher, which is of course the Garen. He's the only one who should be split pushing. Maybe Graves, but not really on the enemy team. So that split pusher not having Baron buff, that is big, guys. That is so big. It's so big. But again, it seems like it's just doomed because it's a more than a 10,000 gold lead right now. That is just absolutely insane. The Gragas, Leandri's, Infinity Orb, Rabadons, he is looking good as well. He's looking juiced up as well. Now we have the Death Stance coming out by the Graves. It's okay because your team just has so much gold at this point that they're all fed. But yeah, I mean, I don't think Death Stance is a bad item, but I would go for it last. You know, you have this slot for the last item for either a GA or a Death Stance. But if you go for both, and I think he will go for both again, then your late game damage will be very, very, very lackluster. But that is a beautiful Gragas ult just to kick the enemies away so the Varus can safely destroy this tower, and now you have only a tier 2 and a tier 3 tower separating MBR from having all towers down. However, I don't think they even want that. They just want to end this game. The Varus ends up killing that Darius. And yeah, 5v4 situation right now. The Nexus is alive. The Baron is still on them. Look at the health bars dropping on the side of Eagle. And it is for sure gonna be the game over. Very well done by MBR. Very well done by Eagle as well, though. The Varus, didn't Varus win every single game? Varus has a 100% win rate. That is absolutely insane. That is absolutely insane. Beautifully done. Again, I'm still a fan. Listen, guys, they probably misclicked the emojis now, but seriously, don't be soy boys and use toxic emojis, man. I know Riot even wants that to happen, you know, because it adds personality to esports, you know, it adds personality. But do you want the personality to be toxic, bro? It's just toxic, isn't it? Like, if you beat someone and then you use an emoji, isn't that just toxic? It is. So, I don't know, man. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a boomer, man. Maybe I'm just a loser hater, bro. But anyway, let's see who gets the most damage dealt. By the way, I forgot to check the most damage previous game, so we will check that out. Actually, most damage in the entire game was Graves. But again, he was really fed. He was like 3k gold ahead of everybody. I definitely think he could have built better. MVP goes to him, though. He definitely deserves that with his early game performance. Now, I want to check who did most damage earlier, because I forgot to check, because that's very important. It should be here, yeah. Yeah, because that was very important, because we needed to check out the Varus damage once again. Not as impressive as in the previous games. The Gragas did the most damage in game 4, but yeah, anyway, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed. That was a crazy series, man. Please leave a like, ring notification bell, and subscribe and all of that jazz. Also share it with your friends if you think this is a good video that you want to share, because it really will help me out. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.